And welcome back. As you can see on the screen, what we're going to be talking about today is outliers. This is the second video on outliers, and we're going to go over what is an outlier. And what's going to change this up is we're going to talk about the causes, the possible causes of an outlier. Alright, so we're going to start off with the definition, in case you forgot. An outlier is the value that lies outside most of the other values in a set of data. And as you can see, I have the same image as before, where you can see an orange point that's far away from all the rest of them on a number line, and that one's marked outlier. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the causes. Now, there could be a couple of causes, two of which are made by errors. Either there's an error in collecting or an error in recording the data. Another one could have been an unusual circumstances. So these are the three primary situations that can occur that causes an outlier. I want you to keep in mind, because you're going to use these three to kind of figure out and use some brainstorming little tools to come up with possible causes. So an error in recording, error in entering, or possible just an unusual circumstance. Now, to show you what I mean, I'm going to show you this problem right here. I'm going to go over together. This problem says, determine the cause of an outlier given the scenario shown below. Kevin and Carl are golf players for the same team. The stocks each player's made. That should be strokes. I should gotta correct that. So hold on. All right, there we go. It's fixed. The strokes each player made for the first 8 games are listed below. Now, if you take a look at part A, in the second game, Carl hit 60. And it wants to explain why that outlier exists. And in the second one, in the 6th game, Kevin hit 80. And again, it wants us to explain why that outlier exists there as well. So, what we're going to do first is take a look at A. So we're going to take a look at the second game Carl has and where he hit 60. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at Carl's. We're going to separate B from it, so we just look at A exclusively. The first thing we're doing is we're going to examine the table. So I'm going to highlight Carl's row, so we know just to look at that one. And then I'm going to highlight the second game different from all the way from everyone else's, since we know that was the outlier. And as you can see, I'm highlighting that red. And now we're going to take a look at the data. First, I'm going to look at all the ones that are not the second game, not the 60. When I see 70, 73, 75, 72, 78, 77, and 71. Looking at that, I see they have all one. They have something in common, and that is they're all in the 70s. Well, in the second game, Carl shot 60. Well, that's way, way different than the 70s. That's at least 10-point difference. So that's the thing right there. We notice, and we can examine, we can state that Carl normally hits in the 70s, but the second game he hit a 60. So that's the difference here. Now we see that. Now that we know that, we have to think of possibilities of why the outlier exists. Like, why did he get 60? Now remember, the first two scenarios that we talked about before, we're talking about error, either recording or entering the error. So maybe there was an error done here. Maybe the card was mismarked, or maybe the error was on purpose and Carl cheated and put a 60 instead of what he was supposed to put. So those are two possibilities that were done by error. Now, there might be an unusual circumstance. Maybe Carl was playing on a course that he's very familiar with and has a ton of practice on, and that's why he scored a 60. We have to think and do brainstorming like that to come up with possibilities. And as you can see, possibilities: Carl scored card might have been mismarked, Carl might have cheated, Carl might have played on a course that he is very familiar with. We don't know. That's why we do the brainstorming, and that's why we come up with these possibilities. And all these possibilities could be a cause of that outlier. So those three could be our possible answers here. Now, having those, we're going to hop over to part B and talk about Kevin and his 6th game. So looking at it, it says the 6th game he hit at 80, so that's the different one. We want to explain why. So again, we're going to examine the table, so I'm going to highlight all of Kevin's data, just so I've separated from Carl's. And then I want to highlight the 80, or the 6th game, just so I know that one's different. So I'm making that red. And now what I'm going to do is look at all the ones I highlighted in green. I see 68, 70, 70, 69, 68, 66, 68. And they're all from the upper 60s to low 70s. All right. Matter of fact, there's only 2 games he hit in the 70s. Well, on the 6th game he hit 80. That's a huge difference. Going from 70 to 80, again, that's a 10-point difference. So he normally shoots in the high 60s to low 70s, but he shot at 80 this time. So that's what we noticed. Kevin normally hits in the high 60s to low 70s, but on the 6th game he hit an 80. And that's very different. Now that we know that, we have to think of possibilities of why the outlier happened. Now, remember, he did worse this time. So it's obvious that he didn't try to cheat, because quite honestly, you want a lower score. So there could have been a mistake in how someone marked it, or how someone read the scorecard. Because remember, we've got to think of error. But other than that, we have to think of reasons why he would do bad. Maybe he was sick, maybe he was injured, or maybe there was really bad weather, or maybe he was playing on a course that he has never played on before and it was challenging for him because he never played on it before. Those are all possibilities that could cause him to score higher than he should have. So again, Kevin's scorecard might have been mismarked, Kevin might have been sick or injured, Kevin might have played on a course that he is unfamiliar with, or Kevin might have had to play through bad weather, all of which would cause a high score. And because of that, all of those would be suitable answers for Part B. So, for A, Carl's scorecard might have been mismarked, Carl might have cheated, Carl might have played a course that he's very familiar with, all the possibilities why he did really well in the 2nd game compared to everyone else, or compared to all the rest of his games, I should say. And Kevin's scorecard might have been mismarked, Kevin might have been sick or injured, Kevin might have played a course he's unfamiliar with, or Kevin might have played through bad weather. All the reasons why his 6th game was way worse than all the rest of his games. So what you need to do here for these kind of problems is use your brainstorming skills while still thinking about those 3 possible scenarios. Error recording, error in entering the data, or just an unusual circumstances can cause it. Alright, now having gone over that and coming up with our answers as you see here, I'm going to give you a problem of your own. As you see, there's 2 parts. I want you to read over the problem, come up with your own answers, and when you come up with your own answers, I want to have you click on play again after you paused it when I tell you to, and we're going to go over them together, so make sure you're prepared for that. So go ahead and pause the video now, solve the problems, and I'll look forward to seeing you back soon. Alright, welcome back. So as you can see on the screen, I still have the problems up. And it's all about commuting, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the first one. As you can see, I already have the row highlighted and that Thursday one highlighted. And if you notice, all the times are in the mid to high 40s, except for Thursdays, which is in the 70s. So his travel time increased dramatically. So we got to think of possibilities. There might have been road construction on Thursday. There might have been poor weather on Thursday. There might have been an error in the recording of the time. Remember, error can always be a possibility. Next, talking about Washington. Now, if we examine the data, we notice that his time ranges in the 60s, but on Friday it was 30. So, knowing this, his time got pretty much cut in half on Friday. So we got to think of possibilities there. There might have been road construction throughout the entire week that cleared up before Friday's commute, meaning that he was dealing with construction Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but not on Friday. There might have been poor weather all week, like bad weather on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, but it cleared up on Friday, so he had good weather. Or there might have been an error in the recording of the time, all of which are possibilities for Part B. Alright, that's everything for today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great, great day.